So a couple of years ago, my good friend Chris Cowan started a company called Vivapura, and he was bringing really high-quality coconut oil to the market, and he had a great reputation and got into the raw food scene. Those of us in the raw food movement, Gabriel Cousins, David Wolf, were using his coconut oil because it was not only really good coconut oil, but there was an indigenous group of people in the South Pacific who were actually learned how to in small batches kind of press the coconut oil. And so it was all done sustainably and ethically and fair labor, and it was really a good way to support those small indigenous communities. So it was a good brand. And after a couple years of some success, he ended up moving here, and I started working with him. And we got to a certain point in the company, and I just said to him, "Hey, man, we're never going to get that. We're not going to be that successful just selling coconut oil. Let's add all this other great stuff that you've got contacts for. You're connected with goji berries and cacao and bee pollen and all kinds of great stuff. Let's open up the line, if you will, and sell more things." So we started with maybe another dozen or so other products. And over the years, we've expanded into what we have now at Vivapura, and we're constantly refining and adding and moving away. And our goal and our mission is to just bring really high-quality superfoods to the planet. We're really keen on helping people kind of support the transition. The realistic kind of way we really feel is just eat whole organic produce. It's kind of like the answer, simplistically, Garden of Eden style, mostly vegetables, fruits, nuts and seeds, and we feel that that's the best foundation for optimal health. And we also know we live in a realistic world where you can't go on the corner and find your superfoods snack bar. And so in 10 minutes have a happy meal to go with all your superfood salads and stuff like that. So having superfoods to kind of amp up your nutritional value in a small quantity. So romaine lettuce has a certain amount of nutrients, and then you look at our bee pollen, it's kind of condensed nutrients. Our goji berries, cacao, these are products generally understood to have a higher percentage of nutrition for the weight or whatever. So in a small amount, like a handful of chia seeds, or what the tarahumara use in the Mexican kind of mountains, and they can go for days with whiskey and chia seed or whatever. Because I don't know what probably tequila. But I read Born to Run, and they talk a lot about the chia seeds being the main energy supply. Now, when I started incorporating chia seeds into my diet, I noticed a difference. Like, I could feel the energy, I felt better, and it's just amazing. It's got great fiber, great omega-3s. So we look at certain foods across the planet, and what we find is there are certain foods that are just really nutrient dense. And we call those superfoods. And they've got some great qualities, and they've got some nutritious value, and then of course, they taste good, and you can put them in recipes, and you can do different things with them. So what we've done as a company is provide the marketplace with high-quality superfoods, and our differentiating factors, we're just looking for really good quality at any price. That's kind of was our motto when we started. We didn't really care to get a big quantity at bulk price. There's a lot of people doing that, and we're choosing not to compete per se one-on-one with just certain markets. We're creating our own niche market, and we're really looking to be a reliable source of high-quality foods as well as information. So phase 1 was the food. Phase 2 we're moving into is information. That's what this academy is about. It's about understanding how to take these foods, how to incorporate them into our lives, and how to benefit, and at the same time enjoy eating and not have to give up what we used to love, quote unquote, used to love about eating. We can keep that, but in a new way, and superfoods gives us a way to do that, especially if we're living in the world, we're executives, we have our own businesses, we are busy, we have lives, we're in the world that doesn't support this holistic way way of living, this holistic lifestyle, we can supplement with superfoods as a bridge to get there, as a bridge to get to the ultimate goal of living in true nature, in authentic synchronicity with the ecosystem, with the planet, with the earth, with the people, with the animals, with the water and the soil and the air, etc., etc. And although we are shipping our foods, people are like, hey, you're shipping your foods from the other side of the planet. I mean, look at the resources that are required to take this stuff and move it all across. I mean, how do you feel about that? On the one hand, I say, absolutely, this is crazy. It's a tremendous amount of resources. I mean, goji berries grow in Arizona. They grow in our backyard. And yet we're shipping them from all across the other side of the planet. How do you reconcile, that? And there's a couple of answers to that. One, up until recent human history, the energy to travel across the planet has been free energy. We've been using wind resources or animal resources or whatever. It's all been free energy. And it's only been recently that this energy is very costly and detrimental to the earth. Second, so that's one aspect. The second aspect is that of all the food and all the products and all the gadgets and all the trinkets that are being transported across the planet every day, nutrient-dense, raw organic superfoods represents less than 1%, less than a tenth of a tenth of a tenth of a percent in my guess. I have no idea. But I'm guessing.
And it will end up in a landfill.
And so, yeah, most of that stuff will end up in a landfill. This will end up raising our collective consciousness. So I say, you know what, if we can piggyback on an existing process to such a minute degree, and maybe, just maybe, this vibrational food will actually help balance that to a certain degree. Because our goal is not to transplant stuff from all across the planet. Our goal is to be able to have enough demand for this stuff that it makes sense to grow it locally. And that's really what we're ultimately about. We're ultimately about how can we do this sustainably. Because shipping this stuff from across the planet is not sustainable. It's just not a sustainable way, unless we figure out a way to do it for free energy. And then all bets are off at that point. But as far as I'm concerned, the most important thing is local, organic. And if you know the farmer, and you have that relationship, the trust. That's the most important. That's like, that's the ultimate prize. And then realistically, anyone living in a city, the density of a city prohibits the accessibility to that kind of health. So we need to do something. We need to do something else. So this is, to me, a transitional phase. So A, getting the products, making them available. B, creating a space where we can talk about this, we can share our information, we can share our knowledge, and so that we can all work towards the collective upgrade of the planet. And using them as a chef, to me, is the ultimate front end line fight. We're the Marines. You guys are the Marines. They go out first, and then the army comes behind. The first wave in the battle for consciousness is the gourmet, low glycemic chef who's making the food and putting it out there, and people are going, "Oh, I can eat this," right? Raw gourmet, exactly. So that's a little bit overview, and so before we get started, we're going to do a quick tour of the facilities. Would you like to do that?
Yeah, yeah, that's great.